Good morning on this cold again Thursday. Rosa Parks has been called the First Lady of Civil Rights. But a century before Ms. Parks refused to give up her bus seat in Montgomery, Ala, a young black schoolteacher took a similar stand in New York that led to the desegregation of our city's public transit system. It might never have happened, but she was running late. On a sweltering Sunday morning in the summer of 1854, Elizabeth Jennings was on her way to play the organ at the First Colored American Congregational Church on 6th Street in Lower Manhattan. In a hurry, she hailed a horse-drawn streetcar at the corner of Pearl and what was then called Chatham Street, according to her account. When Ms. Jennings tried to hop on, the conductor stopped her and told her to wait for a car with her people in it. I then told him that I had no people, Ms. Jennings wrote, and she boarded the car anyway. Although New York had abolished slavery nearly 30 years before, many restaurants, churches, and schools were still segregated. Public transportation cars were marked with placards announcing whether African Americans were allowed on board. Get out, the conductor ordered. I answered again that I was a respectable person, born and raised in New York, Ms. Jennings said, and that he was a good-for-nothing impudent fellow for insulting decent persons while on their way to church. The conductor tried to pull Ms. Jennings from the car, but she held onto the window frame. You shall sweat for this, he said. He drove without making stops to a corner on the Bowery and called over a police officer. The officer sided with the conductor and pushed Ms. Jennings onto the street, breaking her bonnet and dirtying her Sunday attire. The officer tauntingly told me to get redress if I could, Ms. Jennings wrote hours later. She filed a lawsuit against the Third Avenue Railway Company, the operator of the streetcar, with the help of a lawyer, Chester A. Arthur, who would later become our 21st president. The court ruled in her favor, granting her $225 in damages and allowing all African Americans to use public transit, as long as they were sober, well-behaved, and free from disease. As a result of the ruling, within 5 years, the city's streetcars were largely integrated. Ms. Jennings went on to found the city's first kindergarten for African American children, at her home on West 41st Street. Her story of defiance may not be widely known, but in 2007 a sign reading Elizabeth Jennings Place went up at the corner of Spruce Street and Park Row 154 years and a few blocks from where she refused to get off the streetcar. Here's what else is happening you knew it wouldn't last. Our balmy weather is gone. Today will be cold, gray, and wet. Expect rain, mostly after 9 a.m., and temperatures to fall to 39 by sunset as the temperature hit a record high by noon. The Bryant Park ice skating rink in Midtown was covered in puddles, but skaters were undeterred. New York Times: a federal judge rejected bail for the former charter school teacher who was arrested last week for what the authorities called a bomb-making effort with his twin brother. New York Times: 17 people were indicted in a scheme to dominate the city's towing industry, which prosecutors said defrauded insurers out of millions of dollars. New York Times Representative Claudia Tenney, a Republican from Central New York, is being criticized after remarking that many mass murderers end up being Democrats. New York Times: J.P. Morgan Chase announced that it planned to tear down its Park Avenue headquarters and build a bigger, sleeker building in an effort to take advantage of new zoning laws. New York Times: the return of a beloved French restaurant on the Upper East Side after an 8-year absence is testing the loyalty of the neighborhood's socialites. New York Times: taking a look back to the 1990s, when New York City was as smoky inside as it was out, until the city began conceding to non-smokers. New York Times city taxpayers are taking on a larger share in paying for the city's homelessness crisis, according to a recent report. New York Post: the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency backed out of attending the annual career fair at Rutgers University in Newark after pressure from immigrant students and administrators. WNYC Today's Metropolitan Diary: Wheels on the Bus. For a global look at what's happening, see your morning briefing. Films showcasing strong women will be screened through Sunday at the Athena Film Festival at Barnard College in Morningside Heights. Prices and times vary. Kids can explore the former sites of Native American settlements at Pelham Bay Park in the Bronx. 1 p.m. Free visit the exhibition The Subconscious Canvas, which features work made by artists after they were hypnotized, at Contra Galleries in Chelsea. 5 p.m. Free a discussion, Descendants of Kings and Queens, Black Panther and Entangled African Cosmopolitanism, at the Jerry H. Labowitz Theater for the Performing Arts at New York University in Greenwich Village. 6:30 p.m. Free Knicks at Magic, 7 p.m. Message. Nets at Hornets, 7 p.m. Yes. Icelanders at Maple Leafs, 7 p.m. MS+2. Devils host Wild, 7 p.m. Message Plus. Rangers at Canadiens, 7:30 p.m. MSG2. Alternate side parking remains in effect until March 1. For more events, see the New York Times' Arts and Entertainment Guide. We may have returned to winter, but at least it's Beer Week. The local craft brew festival is hosting events through next weekend. Here's a sampling of events. Prices vary. Thursday, the 5-Borough Challenge kicks off at Brookfield Place in Lower Manhattan. You can sample beers from across the city at a winter beer garden and vote for your favorite. The winners of the challenge will be crowned on Thursday, March 15th. 4 to 9 p.m. Friday, try food made with beer at the Waterfront Ale House in Kips Bay. 6:30 to 9:30 p.m. Saturday, attend seminars, get expert advice and try local kombucha at the Fermentation Festival, 10:30 to 4 p.m., or sample suds from the nearly 100 breweries at the NYC Beer Week opening bash, 6 to 9:30 p.m., both at the Brooklyn Expo Center in Greenpoint, Brooklyn. Sunday, submit your homemade beer to the homebrew competition at Randolph Beer Dumbo, Brooklyn. 3 to 7 p.m. New York Today is a morning roundup that is published weekdays at 6 a.m. If you don't get it in your inbox already, you can sign up to receive it by email here. For updates throughout the day, like us on Facebook. What would you like to see here to start your day? Post a comment, email us at newyorktoday@newyorktimes.com, or reach us via Twitter using number NYToday. Follow the New York Today columnists Alexandra Levine and Jonathan Wolfe on Twitter. You can find the latest New York Today at newyorktoday.com.